the to-do list. Okay, and now let's build a project for the to-do list. The purpose of this project is to know how we can use append child. Okay, so let's go and type the HTML. Here is the CSS. We need to type the HTML. So the first thing we can type here is form. We don't need the action, so we can just leave it empty. And then inside the form, because we get a form to be submitted with the class of the submit, sorry, the button of the submit. So here we need an input with a type of text. We can just give let's give the ID. Let's type it again. Let's give it the ID of input because it will be submitted. And then let's make a placeholder for enter a task. Okay, and then inside we can make for the submission button. So we can make button with the type of the submit. And for inside we can type submit. Let's go and see what we have here. Okay, this is good. We can give it the class of submit also. Okay, good. Yeah, first good now. Okay, so this is perfect. And then what we will do after this part is to add the list. The list that everything we will type will be inside. So this is the list, and let's give it the class of list. Okay, this is good. We will leave it empty for now. As you can see from here, when I type anything, it will be added here. Okay, so now let's move to the JavaScript. We can go here and make script, and we don't need the source. We don't need the source here. Let's make it constant instead of variables. Let's delete this line, this space. I don't like the space already. Okay, form to be equal to document dot query selector. Now there's something tricky here. We didn't give it we gave it neither class nor ID, so we don't need to type it. We can just type form and it will look the tag which is called form, and we have only one. And then the constant for the input, document equal to document dot query selector for the input. It can be single quotations, double quotations, it doesn't matter for this one. Const list, and this one will be equal to document dot query selector, and this one will be equal to the UL. Okay, so now we chose or selected everything we need. And now let's go inside. I want something that will happen when I click on the submit. So actually we don't need this time because it will be submitted from the JavaScript. So here form dot add event listener and submit. I want a function to happen. Now I want to show you something right here, that when I go and click here, look at here, okay? When I click, the page is reloaded, and I want to prevent this reloading because if I reload, the memory will be deleted, and what I typed or submitted will not be saved and will not be printed here. So we can fill the parameters. Let's make here events, or let's make it E. E will be easier. Okay, so what did I do here? Let's type first here E dot prevent default. Okay, so I'm gonna show you something here, and what did I do? What I did here is each one I submit will get something like the ID, like this one will take the ID 1, and the second one will take the ID 2, and the third one will take 3. So when I click on the delete, I will delete just I clicked on for the button for the delete, and without this it will delete all of the inputs. But when I add a, it will give an ID to this input, and for each input it will give an ID. And so when I click on the delete, it will delete just what I want to delete. And also right here, it will prevent default, as I did here, prevent default. So what I did here, add event listener. On the submission, I want this to happen, e.prevent default for the input that I put, right? But what is the default? The default after the submission is reloading the page, but I don't want to reload the page, so I give e, and e here for the input that I put, which is the ID of the input, and prevent default, the default after the submission. Okay, so I will prevent the default after the submission, and the default is what? Is reloading the page, but I will stop that. So let's reload the page here. So as you can see from here, there's no reloading. I hope this is clear to you. And here, the name of the function will be todo. So I will call the function here, and then we will type it, okay? And input dot value to be equal to nothing. So I want to set the variable pack. Let's type anything here. It doesn't go pack yet. Yeah, now when we refresh the page, it works. But without this one, it will not. Sorry, we didn't refresh the page. It will not go pack. Okay, this is good. We need to make this first. Save. Okay. Reload. Save. Okay. What's the problem? Yeah, the todo. Yeah, and now it works. Let's get back to todo, because here it finds a problem. I don't have the function of todo, what I want me to do. Okay, so now what we did after what we did now, and what we will do is to add a function of todo. So let's add this function right here. Function, and the name will be todo. Open the brackets, and here we don't need a parameters right here, because the function will not give an ID. The ID will be taken from the input. So the input will give the ID for the list item. And then right here, we will use the input if and else function. So if the input dot, so I want to indicate the value of the input. The value of the input will be indicated by the constant of the input dot value, which is the value which is inside this input. If. Now, what do you think? We will type it like that? No, we will type 3 equals, because I am comparing it to a text and not a number. Okay, so now, and now we can make an alert, and for the alert it will be the value is empty, for an example. Let's reload the page right here. Yeah, the value is empty, it worked fine. Okay, otherwise we can make here, do you think here we can type if the input is not empty, or what do you think we can add? Oh, in case if you want to type if it's not empty, you can just make here not. Okay, and we will learn this very soon in other projects. Okay, so now we can make second or another solution for this one, else. So if it's not true, else, so I will do something else. And also we can make else if. So if I have three something like 3 conditions, if input value dot value is equal to yes, and then I want something to happen, I will copy this one. We can just make it different. Okay, reload the page. Let's make this one yes. The value is y. And if I leave it empty, it will be the value of empty. Okay, good. And now we don't need this one, really. Now, we will make a constant of value. And we will make it equal to the input.value. Input.value. Okay, and then we can create here a constant of new, we will call it new list. So what I want to happen here is when I click on the submission and it has text already, so I want to create element here because li is an element. So I want to create a new element each time I add an input, but I want to make it from the JavaScript, right? So there's a function in the JavaScript which is called document.create element. I will create an element. Create element. What element do you want to create? I want to create the element of li. This is the same as we went here and add li, but from the JavaScript because we want to add li for each time we submit. Okay, so we can just add some comments here. Okay. We can add here creating li element each time we submit. Okay, this is good. And here after this part, we will add for the text content because I want to change the text content of the value. The text content of the value will be the new list. So here, sorry, I want to change text content of the new list. Sorry. So here, new list dot text content. I want to change the text content of the new list and make it equal to what you think. I want to make it equal the value that I submitted, which is this one right here, value. So, okay, let's do that. Yeah, reload the page. It doesn't work yet. Okay, it's okay. We can just move on because there's something that we didn't add, but it's okay. Let's make here the a comment for adding the value of the input to the li. And here I want to tell you why it's not working. We added here an li, right? But we didn't add where I want to put this li, right? That's why it doesn't work. Okay, so now we can add a comment right here, and this comment will be for adding the delete button. So we can just add a comment here, adding the delete button. Okay, this is good. And here we can make a constant for delete button. And this will be equal to document dot. I will create a new element also, which is the button in this case. Create element, which is the button. Okay, and after this part, what we wanna do here, we wanna change the text content of this button. So let's add a comment here, changing the content of the button. Okay, and here we will make delete button dot text content to be equal to delete. Okay, good. And then after this part, what we can do, we can just we can give here for the button, but let's make this one to be here 10 pixels. This will be for any button. Okay, it's good also, it's okay. Okay, this is good. And now what we want to do here is to add the li. We want to add this li inside this ul, and this one will be done by adding append in the JavaScript. So let's know how we can do that. Let's add a comment here as first, and this one will be for adding the li inside the ul. Okay, and then after this part we will make list dot append. So what I'm doing here, I am going to the constant of the list, which is document.querySelector ul, and append. Append means I want to add something inside here. So this is the list, which is a constant, and append. The append, I will add something here, and then it tells me what you want to add. I want to add the new list. Okay, and then the new list right here, it get a text content of value, but let's say here, so it works, right? But the delete button is not here. Now I want to challenge you now. I can add list append, right? But I can add more than a variable. I can add text, I can add anything. I don't need to add exactly an element. I can add also text because it will be added here, right? Because append means I will add something inside. It doesn't limit me by adding elements. I can add also text. So I want to challenge you here. I want you to add the button of the delete button right here. Pause the video and try to do it yourself. Okay, and now let's do it together. We can make this one a comment right here, adding the delete button. Okay, so now we want to append something inside the new list, which is this one. So here, new list dot append, because we want to append inside it. I want to append what? I want to append a text, which is the HTML, and for the delete button. So we can make single quotation here and leave it empty, just type space inside it to make a space between this text and the delete button. And here we can make for the delete button. Okay, and now let's try to test this one right here. When I click on G, it gets G, and when I get H, it get H, and when I get S, it get S. Okay, and when I make the screen larger, yeah, and now it works fine, and we get no problem with it, right? And this works. We can delete the space if we need, but it's not necessary. It's good right here. Okay, so now it works. Now we are done from this part. In the next video, we will learn how we can make this delete button works, because here we get the submit, but it's not working very well. So we need to make this. We will do that in the next video. Good luck and have fun. Okay, and now let's add for deleting the item. We can go here after this one. Let's add some space. Let's add a comment here, and another way to add a comment in the JavaScript is add 2 slashes, but it will just comment this line. It will not comment this line. I will just be commenting this line for deleting. Okay, so let's make it here. What I want to do here is make list dot add event listener, because I will click on something for the list. Click. So I will click on the list, right? So here, the list, which is where this one. I will click on the UL. So here, I will make a function of E, because each E we submitted there has something like the ID, right? So I want, when I click on this one, this will be deleted. I don't want to delete all. And then if the E, which is the ID of the one we submitted, the ID that we want to be deleted, target. This means here that the target, which is the click, if e.clicked has the node name, which is equivalent to the element name but in the JavaScript, 3 equals, and this one also reads the uppercase, so we will type the uppercase, but it will be read as we read it as the lowercase. Okay, so I want to tell you again what I did here. FE, which is the ID that we want to be deleted, target. Target means I clicked on it, and the node name that here it has an ID, so I gotta target it. Okay, this is the target when I click on it. If the node name of the thing that I targeted at is button, I want something to happen. Okay, so what I want to happen? I want E, which is the ID of something that we want to delete, dot target dot closest. Closest here means I want to find here, let's make it closest, li, if it will also read the li. So I want to target the closest li, which is, what do you think the closest li here? As you can see from here, this has the li of something and a button, right? So what do you think is near? It will get the list item that for this one. Dot, there's something, a function here is remove, so I want to remove it. Let's try here. Okay, J H sorry, D. Okay, let's make something different. Okay, now when I click here, it will be deleted, and it works fine. And I hope this is clear to you. If you have any problem, you can ask in the Q&A.